Good evening, gentlemen. And Lynn, ladies. Let's call the meeting to order for the Merrimack Planning Board for June 4th. Let's begin with our Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thanks.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You know, I was in first grade when they added under God.
Yeah? You know, where I grew up down south, the cadence for doing the Pledge of Allegiance is completely different. The pauses for one nation, under God, indivisible, all that runs together. One nation, under God, indivisible.
Is that right?
Is without all the pauses in the cadence. So, anyway, okay, let's see. That's the sidewalk minutes.
I move we approve that there's no consent agenda.
Yeah, there is no consent agenda. Let's have Nelson in for a voting position. Welcome, Tom, as our new town council representative officially.
Well, I have been the alternate all along. So.
Yeah, I know,
But
but
now
we didn't
you're
really
official.
see as much. But are you going to stay the regular representative for a while, or who knows?
I don't know.
Do we know who our alternate might be?
Replacement for Barbara, so we'll see what penalties happen.
Who is that in the hallway?
Oh, I'm not sure. Let me just do an announcement. If anybody is here for Merrimack Parcel A on our agenda, they have asked for a continuance, and so they're unlikely to hear tonight to be here. There's nobody here watching them, so let's see. Our next meeting after tonight is June 18th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. in this Matthew Thornton room. Let me remind everybody that will address the board to make sure microphones are turned on. You speak clearly into them. That concludes all of the opening procedures for our meeting. We have no consent agenda, so we're up to item 3. Strategic Acquisitions and Real Estate Holdings LLC is the applicant and owner request for approval of an application for a waiver of full site plan review regarding a change of use to a contractor's yard. The parcel is located at 658 Daniel Webster Highway in the C2 General Commercial and Aquifer Conservation Districts and Wellhead Protection Area. Tax map 6E2, lot 13, case Planning Board 2024-7. It's continued from the May 7th Planning Board meeting. Okay, Colleen, is there anything that we need to know before we hear from the applicant?
Not specifically. This is as a result of a service request involving a zoning and site plan violation that we had issued probably back in March of 2023. They went to zoning, got proper approval, and now we're here before us requesting a waiver of full site plan to allow a contractor's yard for a portable toilet business, as I'm sure the applicant will state. That is all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. All right, please introduce yourself and tell us where we're at with your application. Briefly. Yeah, you don't have to go into a lot of details.
Good afternoon. My name is Brad Casperson. I'm a professional engineer with Meridian Land Services, and I'll be representing this application. I also have the owner here with me.
I'm Brian Labrie with Strategic and Drop One Portables.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty short and sweet. I figured, you know, the actual site plan itself doesn't really have too much to it. I can go through it in detail, but I figured I would just go through the waiver request. Per the waiver criteria of waiver of the full site plan review is being requested under the following criteria. Strict conformity would pose an unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulations. Regarding our justification of the waiver, the property received a site plan approval in 2017 to allow for an oil distribution business. The property recently received a variance from the Zoning Board of Adjustment to allow for a contractor's yard. The applicant made minor modifications to the site plan, which was essentially removing the oil distribution components and then also putting up a vinyl fencing along the westerly side property line, which provides additional buffering to the property. Due to the minor nature of this change of use, it would be an undue hardship for the applicant to go through the full site plan review process, which includes, but is not limited to, drainage calculations, a landscaping plan, a grading plan, surveying of the property, as well as a review of these items. All of these items add expenses to the applicant and have no value to the proposal. In terms of stormwater and any potential impacts to abutting or downstream properties, there is none. There's no additional impervious area being proposed as part of this application. And the abutting property, tax map 6E-2, lot 14, actually has been sized to accommodate, the stormwater basin on that lot has been sized to accommodate for a portion of the site's runoff. I don't really have much more else on the waiver request, but I figured I would open it up to you guys.
Does any board members have any discussion items?
Just a question. I didn't quite hear what you said about the drainage. I know you say the drainage goes to the southerly property.
So,
Yeah. And,
there's this basin right here,
oh, that's the northerly
which has
property.
been sized to accommodate for some of the stormwater. But my first statement was, there's no impacts on stormwater just because it's a change of use. There's no impervious areas being proposed or anything like that that would cause stormwater
But
impacts.
what was the change you made? I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
It's just a change of use. There's no,
Oh, there's no change in use. Okay, but
yeah.
it's sized for the same building,
Yep.
so, yeah, okay, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion?
Yes, where was the fence added? I didn't find that on the
The
plan.
back.
Right here.
Okay,
See two fences side by side, it's the most interior one.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Other questions or discussion? All right, so the item up for the board to manage is the acceptance of the application is complete, which comes along with a waiver of full site plan review if the board is so willing. If you are, motion, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Nelson. Granting the waiver and acceptance means the application's complete, and it wouldn't be complete if you didn't grant the waiver, so these kind of go together. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? 4-0-0 to accept the application, and I guess it's functionally the same as granting the waiver of full site plan review. A couple of questions that I have, just with respect to the change in use. The nature of your business is a little bit different. Do you guys have the trucks that clean out the units and haul away the septic? Is that on your site? And do those require any kind of special drainage or treatment or anything around them on the surfaces that they're parked on? Do they have any impact?
So the trucks daily are brought to Allenstown to offload.
Okay.
So there is no storage of waste or any type of contaminants, and we do have NHDES oversight.
Okay. And the fluid that the porta-johns are filled with when they're clean and ready to be used, what is that? And has that got any?
So believe it or
environmental-
not, the big myth is that the blue water is something magical, right? Well, it's not. It's 5 gallons of water with a deodorizer pack that's
Okay.
biodegradable and colored.
So
That's
it's
really
environmentally safe,
It is,
biodegradable?
yeah.
Excellent. And is that material stored, it's a dry material in a pack in your
So it's a
site?
dry pack, and it's stored in cardboard boxes in the garage.
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions. I think the only thing that I understand you're changing on the site is the addition of the handicap parking space, so.
Oh, yeah. That's one thing I didn't touch on is striping of the parking lot is proposed here, which doesn't exist.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Other comments or questions?
A couple.
Nelson?
I want to go back to the drainage for a second. You have an agreement or an easement to put your drainage water onto the adjacent property. Is that right?
No. It's just been sized to accommodate for this lot's drainage. So when this
Yeah.
abutting lot was designed, it was designed since this land naturally sheet flowed to it, we sized it to accommodate for this property.
So there
there's
was
no
no,
easement.
there was no previous
Mike.
agreement?
Yep,
Use the
stay
mic.
closer to the microphone.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so there's no sort of easement over this property.
Or for the benefit of it
Or
on
for
the
the-
neighboring parcel?
Nope, it was simply just size for the site plan on the abutting property to accommodate for this parcel, which is typical when you do drainage calculations, is to size it for the entirety of the watershed.
Understand, but you putting your drainage water on his property, and does he agree to that? I guess,
So I own both properties, Nelson,
well, that helps.
and so it helps a little bit, yeah. And we use Meridian, with this little bit of foresight here a couple years ago.
Okay.
with this.
And if you tried to split them, then it'd be different, but I didn't realize that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Thank you. The other thing was there was some traffic review that was supplied to us that I didn't completely understand. And I don't have an objection to it, I just didn't understand it. And maybe you can explain it. These charts, can you just go over that quickly with us? I don't want to drag this out, but I just plain never saw this kind of a traffic presentation before.
Oh, in terms of how it's presented?
That's the one.
Okay. Yeah, so basically what we do is we take all the traffic data that DOT publishes, and then we use manuals that establish certain traffic counts for certain uses. So we applied that for his property, the amount of uses that are associated with that, and then the combination of both, what's the effect of adding the traffic from his site to the road. So in short, it was, I could tell you the numbers. What do we got here?
It was done by Fuss and O'Neill, I believe, and I think it was negligible traffic.
Yeah, it was very minor. Yeah, so on weekdays during the AM, it was 4 extra trips to the state road in the AM. So very minor. Exit 1.4. Are you looking at those?
Explain that chart.
Yeah, just understand how to read this chart.
Okay.
I get that there's not much traffic added, I kind of
No,
gathered that
that
point.
wasn't a worry of mine, but I
Yes, so basically the chart, this is based on studies, so they list how many studies establish this graph here. Basically, they have directional distribution, so 50% entering and exiting, so that's saying, 50% of people are coming into the site and leaving, and then the average rate, that's what we utilize, which is right here, this average rate right here. That's what we utilize to establish the trips from the property using this chart.
Okay, but just explain the graphic with what are the X's and the lines and the dotted line, and how do I read this thing? I see trip
Oh.
ends on the Y-axis and
Yeah.
number of employees on the X-axis, and
Yep, so it's just basically the X's are a bunch of data points, and then the 2 lines are just averages of the data that's presented, but really what all this data shows is what's in this table right here, which is what we really utilize. But this is the study data.
so where does the data come from, all these X's?
This is from the trip generation manual. It's pretty much the standard for determining trip generation.
Okay, so they got roughly, looks like 20-ish studies that they've plotted as a way of comparing the number of employees to the number of trip ends. I'm still not sure what I'm supposed to glean from the chart.
Site is versus a number.
Yeah, it's just a graphical means of representing the statistical data that's in the table. So I mean, it's nice to see it, but in reality, it's not really utilized in the analysis that was done, because the data that's utilized was based on the tabulated information.
Well, what I'm gonna do is pay attention to your average number of trip rates, and I'll take your word for the notion that this is nice to see, because I can't figure out what it's supposed to tell me. Usually a graphical presentation simplifies data, and in this case,
That works,
yeah,
especially the second one.
yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. You're not creating very many trips. Other discussions,
I
Nelson?
guess I'll go along with that. And I'll second what he says. The
Yeah.
other thing.
Oh, engineering degrees just aren't as useful as they used to be, I guess, right now. So.
There's engineering and there's engineering. Tell me about the state's involvement in this so far. They have to approve this use, do they not? With the change of use, does the state doesn't have to approve it?
I don't think that they do for any reason.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
It's a state road.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
you're
they're
talking
not
for the driveway permit?
Yeah.
Oh, so this would be a lesser use in the property in comparison to the previous one, so it's covered under the existing permit.
But you don't need another rubber stamp on it or anything? No?
No,
Okay.
not that I'm aware of, at least.
Other comments or questions? Are there any abutters or citizens who wish to weigh in? Don't everybody rush to the microphone at once.
Is this
I just
site
wanna-
sewered?
To confirm.
It is not.
Where are you gonna?
No,
no.
Is
Is
the
this back
septic
lot?
on
It is a septic.
site?
Hang on,
Yep.
pick one at a time.
You got the same number of employees roughly as the other?
Probably less.
Yeah, okay.
Tom, you had some questions?
Yeah, so your storage of your units is all gonna be in that back lot section?
That's
Where
correct.
the X's are?
Yep.
And is there anything containing that, or you're just marking it off as a general area?
It's got actually fences on both sides now, on two sides, the north
Yeah,
and south
just not
side.
at the front.
Yeah,
So,
just not the front.
but all storage will be in there? There'll
All-
be nothing leaks
correct.
out of that area?
Correct.
And these units, when you bring them back, they're already emptied, are they cleaned
They're
off-site
cleaned
also?
on, they're cleaned on site before they come back, per
They're cleaned
DES
on
rules.
site
Yeah,
here?
no, on site, on the field site.
Oh,
And so they come on the truck empty, and they get back in the yard, and they're cleaned. On the property we take them off of, so they're just staged in the yard.
okay.
Okay.
All right. I noticed the note that said nothing is gonna be stored in this front section by the parallel parking, so I just wanted
Correct.
to make sure that nothing's gonna be stored anywhere else either.
Yep.
Because I didn't see anything that said this is where we're gonna store all, but I assumed that was what it was. I guess I don't have anything else to ask.
Okay, thank you, Tom. I don't have anything to ask either. We've handled our public hearing piece of the things. The next step is for the board to consider any final action on the application. Lynn?
I will move that the board make a finding that with the granted waiver and the proposed conditions of approval, the application meets all applicable regulatory requirements necessary, and further to grant conditional final approval to the application, subject to the recommended conditions of approval presented in the staff memo dated May 31st, 2024.
Is there a second for Lynn's motion?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Nelson. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? 400. You are all set.
Very good, thank you.
Very much.
Thank you. Okay, item 4 on our agenda is Merrimack Parcel A LLC, care of Thomas Monahan as the applicant and owner. Request for approval of an amended site plan for a mixed-use development in accordance with the Merrimack Park Place mixed-use conditional use permit. The proposal calls for a 100-room and approximately 19,500 square foot, 2-story mixed-use building. I'm sorry, a 100-room hotel, an approximately 19,500 square foot, 2-story mixed-use building containing a restaurant, commercial, and office space, and a 178 multifamily residential unit building. The parcels are located at 1, 2, and 4 Lexington Court in the I-2 Industrial and Aquifer Conservation Districts and Wellhead Protection Area, Tax Map 3C, Lot 191-2U2 and 191-2U4. Case Planning Board 2024-10. It's continued from our May 7th Planning Board meeting, and I'm given to understand the applicants requested a continuance to the July 2nd, 2024 meeting. Colleen, do you have any more information to shed light on their request?
For the continuance, no.
Okay, so I do have a letter here from Ty and Bond from Gordon Leedy, asking for the continuance. We have not yet received all the necessary staff and department reviews and will require additional time to address the town's concerns. As such, we would like to request further continuance of the application until the meeting of July 2nd, by which time we expect to have resolved any outstanding issues. If you have any questions or need additional information, please contact me by phone, etc. What is the will of the board? Lynn?
I'm on a roll here.
Yeah, you're doing good.
I recommend that we continue the application's public hearing to July 2nd, 2024 at 6:30 PM in the Matthew Thornton Room, right where we are now, with no further written notice to abutters.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
See, he's on a roll too.
Second for Nelson.
Yeah,
Um,
we're keeping Tom out of the hook.
Yep.
Off the hook.
yeah. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? All right, 400 to continue it to July 2nd. I just, for the members that are here, information, I am going to be traveling at that meeting, and so I will not join you on July 2nd for the consideration of this application.
You going
Have fun.
someplace fun?
Alabama.
Uh-huh.
Might go down to the Gulf Coast and go fishing in the
Go
Gulf
down
of
and see the
Mexico.
Bama boy?
Yeah, yeah, and summer in Alabama, it's like, because Africa.
I was gonna say, but that's the wrong time of year.
All right. Okay. Planning and Zoning Administrators Report and discussion and possible action regarding other items of concern. Colleen, have you got any report for us?
Just that today Casey had granted an administrative approval for the expansion of the Children's Den, which is a daycare. I can't remember the property's address. It's by the old Rite Aid. That was the only thing. Other than that, I do have in front of you is a set of site walk minutes, as I said before. Those will have to be approved as well during the approval of minutes.
Excellent, thank you. Does anybody have any other discussion, action, or discussion items or possible action items?
I'd like to hear more about what she said at the beginning about the daycare expansion.
That's at the far, you know what, the strip mall where DW Diner is?
Yes,
The
thank you, Lynn.
opposite end of that is a daycare that's been approved and there for a long time. They're just moving into another section of the mall.
Yes, they occupy 4 units of that building currently, and they're expanding into a 5th, I believe, now. They're adding an additional 3 employees for a total of, I think, almost 30-something employees, and they'll be adding another 24 kids for an additional, I think, 125-ish kids, if I remember correctly.
It's a school.
Basically, yeah, they're gonna need their own building soon.
But no change outside.
Nelson, I'll be happy to forward you that letter if you'd like to review it.
Okay, I'd just like to know where it is. I want to be sure I've got it in
Nelson?
the.
DW Diner,
Yeah,
you know that strip mall?
yeah.
They've been at the back of
There
that
is a-
strip mall
Oh, in the
forever.
back of there? Okay, okay, all right. Somehow
I
I
just
was
said
up
that.
by, I was
No.
I was
no,
by
they've been in the back.
Walgreens,
No.
and when you said,
No.
Rite Aid.
okay, that's, now I'm okay. All right, and no addition to the building? Okay, then,
They're
Are
just
there
expanding
5
in that
contiguous,
area.
are there 5 units all contiguous?
Yeah.
I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure.
It would have to
Give
be
me
because there's nothing else down that end.
I didn't think so, but I mean, if they're not, then getting to bathrooms and around and calling for help if you had an emergency or something.
Play area in the back, right?
Yep.
Yes, they
That
do.
would
They
seem
got
to be way too
administrative,
small for that
Yep.
many
yeah, they got an administrative approval recently to expand it.
Yep.
So they are
Good
currently
playground.
occupying units M, O, P, Q, J, and S. So that's now 6 units, not 5. I stand corrected.
So there's one
they
in
don't
between
sound
that's
like
not.
they're adjacent, but.
No,
Yeah,
they
I'm
may
not-
be around the back or something like
Yeah.
that, but anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure they're connected in some way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. But
They're all in the same building.
yeah.
Within a stone's throw. Okay, any other questions about,
So I just
The
had a
report.
question on that, since she brought it up.
oh, understood. Any other items of concern to discuss? I would say, I don't know that it's an item of concern, but the email that we have had distributed to us originally from Barb Asketh should make it into the record for the Merrimack Parcel A property. I don't know, did you guys all get one of these at your
No,
desk?
they didn't. Just you.
Oh,
That
okay.
I believe has been added to the property file. the
Sounds good.
project file.
So Barb sent an email quite upset about the rescheduling of the site walk and indicating that she didn't think people were notified appropriately, and then modified that a little bit, softened it a little bit, but still upset about the sidewalk. And if you want to see the email, you can. But have that be a part of the record, obviously.
Yeah,
It's
or
official
send us a
correspondence.
copy too,
Let's see.
yeah.
You wanna read it?
Well, okay, you don't have to.
Okay, I don't have any other discussion items or items of concern. Approval of minutes of May 21, 2024, what say you?
So move.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I will second that. I've read them already.
All in
Yeah.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? 400.
And I want to,
The site walk minutes from
so moved,
Thursday, whatever day it was,
May 30.
seconded.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining?
I-
400 for the sidewalk
You can
minutes.
approve even though you weren't there, because you read the minutes.
Yep.
Okay, I read them.
I mean, you don't have to if you want to.
No, there were no
Abstain if you
misspellings
want,
in
yeah.
it, so I'm okay.
That's all you need to do. Okay, there's no further business on our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Isn't there a set of minutes? Or did we
Is-
do the minutes already?
Yes?
Yeah, we just flew past that.
Okay.
Is there a second for the motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? 400, we are adjourned. Thank you.